All right, we are recording now. So welcome everyone to our first in our MIT React Talks, or our MIT React Careers in Tech speaker series. We are so pleased to welcome today Mr. Morteza Maleki. Morteza, can I just confirm that you're here? I think I see you here.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Morteza.
Thanks.
This is the second year that we've had Morteza speak to our cohort. He's a really, really awesome person. So he is an advanced data analytics senior associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers Digital Technology and Innovation Consulting team. He has extensive experience carrying out data-driven projects to provide meaningful insights to stakeholders in a variety of business, manufacturing, and financial settings. He has been building and executing machine learning pipelines, implementing ETL and automation processes, and designing workflows using multiple programming languages. So Morteza holds the MicroMaster's credential in Data Economics and Development Policy from MIT, where he began that program as a React learner. We have a small cohort of folks who have participated in the MicroMaster's program, and Morteza was one of just 8 people that was selected for that program. And he's currently, correct me if I'm wrong, pursuing a master's in analytics at Georgia Tech, and is also interested in pursuing other opportunities academically at MIT and elsewhere. So Morteza, with that, I'm going to hand it over to you. Please let me know if you need co-hosting privileges or anything like that for your presentation.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I'm Morteza. I was about, I guess, 4 years ago. I was a new joiner for a DEDP MicroMasters program. But I'm just going to give you a little background about myself, what challenges I've been through, and how the process, how my data science journey looked like in the past few years. And then I guess after about 30 minutes, I can stop and we can have some Q&A with each other. So I'm originally from Iran, and I got my bachelor's in chemistry at the University of Tehran, and I came to the US about 7 years ago to start my PhD program at the University of South Carolina. And I moved here to South Carolina, and I haven't left since I came here. So I was almost in the middle of my PhD program in 2017, and I had maybe 2 more years, but I realized at that time I don't want to do experimental work. I don't want to work in the lab, and instead I want to work with data. And at that time I did not know what data science is, but all I knew was that I want to work more with computers and with mathematical models, and if possible with codings and programming. So what I did was I took a leave. I took a 1-year leave from my PhD program to just figure out what I want to do academically, and also start working, and basically figure out what I want to do for my future. So it was at that time that I got to know about DEDP program at MIT, Data Economic and Development Policy. That's a very similar program to what you guys are going through, but in a more economic and experiment design context. And before that time, I hadn't coded anything, even 1 line of code in my life, and I had no idea about statistics, probability, machine learning. I was very new to data science, and I got to know about MIT React. And because of my refugee status at that time, I got sponsored by MIT React, and started a DEDP program. And through the program, I got to learn about our programming language. I think you guys are going through Python, which is actually much better. and it's a more robust programming language. And I got to learn about basics of data science and in statistics and probability and economics, and everything was new to me and very, very heavy for me, but I really, really enjoyed it. And after a few months, I decided to sort of quit my PhD with a master's degree. So I quit my PhD program and just continued learning. But I also, because I had a background in chemistry, I started working at a pharmaceutical company, but in the chemistry lab, because my background and my experience was in chemistry. But at the same time that I was working at this pharmaceutical company, I was taking MIT React online courses, and I was learning and enhancing my knowledge in data science. So I know what you guys are facing and also going through. A lot of you guys are not living in the country that you were born, maybe have not seen your family for a long time, and maybe you have to travel every once in a while and obtain work permits and things like that. So I have been going through the same challenges as you, but trust me, it will pay off at the end, because this field is a field that the future really relies heavily on data science and this field that you guys are about to start. So and then after I finished MIT React, I kept learning online through MIT on edX and other resources. I I didn't know anything about Python until 2 years ago. I started actually learning Python with the same courses you guys are going through right now. Um, uh, Professor Grimson and others, the courses that they have developed. So I started coding in Python, and then after I got admitted into Georgia Tech for my master's in analytics, I then was able to learn more about Python and how it can be connected to machine learning and other applications. And then after about a year, I worked in the chemistry lab at that pharmaceutical company, because online I tried to keep myself updated with various technologies and programming and different courses and things. In that same pharmaceutical company, I got transferred to the IT department, and I started as an associate data scientist. So I moved from chemistry lab into IT and started building Power BI dashboards for the company I was working at the time. And all I showed them was the certificates I acquired through the DADP and other resources, and I told them I have some great passion and good ideas about how I can help with the company's needs. And for about a year now, I have been a consultant at PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. I've been a technology consultant, advising mostly Fortune 500 companies, and mostly worked with healthcare clients, the pharmaceutical companies who our company is giving consultation to. And the knowledge that I acquired when I was at that pharmaceutical company in the chemistry lab really is helping me now. And I'm gonna actually come back to this point, because some of you may be working in a field or in a company or in a position that you may feel like it's not very related to data science, and you may think of it as sort of a waste of time, but it will pay off in the future, and it will help you, because data science will just give you the tools and the basics for you to succeed, but it has to be applied in a setting, and that setting can be pharmaceutical, or it can be economic, or it can be telecommunication or business. So whatever field you have the background or are currently working with, it can help you in the future in your data science career. And at the same time that I was working at PwC, I because I really enjoy research and I really like learning new things, I started doing some research with a few of my friends who are postdocs or PhDs, and I've been helping them for the past few months, and planning on at some point in the future start a PhD program in data science or computational social science. So this was a quick background about me. I just have a couple of sort of, I would say, career advice or academic advice to give you guys, and these have really helped me a lot in the past few years. I want to share them with you. So uh, one thing that I myself did, and I was very hesitant to do it, was to change the direction of my life, because I was already here and I was already in a PhD program, but I didn't really like the direction it was the things were going. So I made that decision to quit and start with data science, and I do not regret it at all. So don't be hesitant to change the direction of your life if you think it's a logical decision to do. And you guys have made a very great choice to start your data science journey by starting in this program, thanks to MIT React. Another thing is that it doesn't matter what you're working on right now, what your career is, or what your background is. It will help you in the future. So what I used to beat myself up for wasting 7 years of my life, 8 years of my life, studying chemistry at college, and uh, coming here and doing PhD for another 30 years, and it's not even helping me now as a data scientist. But after a few years, I now can use some of those knowledge in the pharmaceutical consulting we're giving our clients. It's good to have that knowledge and background from how the ins and outs of a pharmaceutical company works. So it will help you in the future. You may not see the benefits right away, but you can definitely uh, see the benefits in the future. Also, take advantage of online resources. So I know you guys are busy with this program. It's going to be a great program. I have taken some of the courses, as I said, with Python and the computation. They are really great. Really enjoy your courses with Python, and make sure you master this language, because a lot of machine learning and a lot of applications that you hear about in data science or artificial intelligence have been developed in Python. And if you know the basics of Python, then it would be just as a matter of learning a new library or learning a new package in Python. So everything you're learning right now, if you want to apply it to machine learning setting, all you have to do is to learn how scikit-learn package, for example, in Python works, and then you would be able to deploy machine learning models. Or if you want to clean data, all you have to do is to learn about pandas library. These are all libraries that if you know the basics of Python, then you can master, or you can get involved with data science projects in no time. So take advantage of online resources as much as you can. Keep learning, and at some point in your data science career, you will be asking yourself the question of, should I learn Python more, or should I switch to R, or learn JavaScript or other languages? My advice would be, do not get yourself overwhelmed with so many different languages. Uh, focus in one, uh, and actually in your case it will be Python, and master everything there is to know about it. And then once you get involved and get started with learning a language, then if you want to learn R in the future, it will be much easier for you, because all the for loops and conditionals and different try and catch phrases and things like that are the same among these program languages. It's just the syntax that is different. In R, you may have to put parentheses. In Python, you don't have to do that, and things like that. So don't distract yourself with learning multiple languages at the same time. But it's also good to have the basic knowledge about them in the future, know what R is and what it does and things like that. But I think you're on a great path with learning Python and learning the basics of computation. Another sort of advice I can give is, it's very great to have a mentor in your data science journey, and you guys already have great mentors through MIT React. They will answer your questions and help you. But in the future, make sure you have someone who has a few years of experience in this field to show you the path and tell you what to focus on and which direction to go. So it has helped me a lot with my interviews and with every decision I have made in the process. So make sure you guys also can have a great resource like this in the future as well. Another thing I can say is make sure you engage in data analytics projects, and it doesn't have to be as part of your job, or it doesn't have to be as part of your course. You can go to kaggle.com, which is a platform for data scientists that they can just go there and basically yeah, and I think everyone will be matched with a mentor. I think that's great. That is fantastic. And this kaggle.com is a website that data scientists go there, and there are already projects and data sets available there for free. And you can actually go there and see what other people have done. For example, there are a couple of very interesting and popular projects. One of them being Titanic. It's called Titanic dataset. They have put the data from Titanic ship up there, the people who have survived and have not survived, what has been the demographic and characteristics of the people who survived and did not, and you are developing a machine learning model to predict which one survived and which one did not. It's like a sort of a classification problem. So you can see what other people have done in the past from the best data scientists in the world. You can read their Python code, how they started the project, how they went about building their model, and how they basically worked with the data set and how they showed the output. You can start your own Kaggle project. You can get started in this Titanic data set, for example, in the future, once you feel more comfortable with Python. And you can compare your code with others. So this is a great platform, and new data sets and new basically projects will be put on this. And what I did was I took 2 projects from this website and shared with my mentor and showed them how I'm approaching the problem, and I got great feedback, and it's helping me up to now, how it can be helpful to use these online and free resources that are available to you. The good thing about data science is that right now there are great platforms and learning opportunities, and make sure you take advantage of them, and most of them are online, so it doesn't require you to physically be present anywhere. Another advice I can give is regarding your network and networking. Make sure you guys get to know each other and keep this professional relationship even after this program, because in a few years, each of you will be working as a data scientist if you choose to, and it would be a great resource, and it would really help you a lot down the road, because you will learn from each other, and also if you need any help or if you need any career opportunities, you guys can help each other a lot. So make sure you keep networking with people in this program, and also people on online platforms like LinkedIn and other professional platforms. This is really great and important. Both of the jobs in the past four years that I got admitted to, I found the opportunity through my connections on LinkedIn, and they have put in good words for me, and they have referred me in those positions. So I highly recommend this approach. And I guess last thing about Python, as I said, it's a great programming language. It is very complete. They do a lot of great things with it. They also even create websites and applications with it. They even use it in movie industry. They use it for so many different applications. There has been great libraries and packages developed for it, for machine learning and other purposes. But all you need to know is the basics. And if you know the basics, then as I said, everything else would be just as a matter of learning a new library in this platform. So this was a quick sort of introduction, and also some sort of career advice that I wanted to give. I just wanted this to be an interactive session. I'm gonna pause if for any questions or any comments. If there's anything anyone wants to share or ask, please drop it in the chat or feel free to fire away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Morteza. I think what's truly amazing about your learning journey and your career journey is just how how self-motivated you were to learn new things, and how you were able to find and leverage these different online platforms. And like you said, you don't need to be physically present in a particular place in order to learn. I think much of what you've recommended is free, and so I think that's very helpful. I put as many of them in the chat as I could.
Thank you very much.
But if you have any to add, feel free to do so. But yeah, with that, I will, if anyone has questions, feel free to raise your hand or just go ahead and chime in, or you can put it in the chat, whatever you'd like to do. Yes, Nelly, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you so much, Gillian. I'd like to ask Mr. Maleki about the Python thing. There's some way in which you start about the solutions, mostly on when you are new to Python and like how you're like thinking, how do I add values on a certain solving problem solution, and you find like there are times like you stuck and you don't have anywhere to go to, and you like try harder to find some website where you can get more data, so that it can help you and assist you in so many things. Because learning Python as the way some of the students, we are new to it, and you found that there's some of the things that are very hard, and you find like because you don't have a lot of knowledge on how you can do that, you feel like you're being stuck and you feel like it's a very boring thing ever. But when you have knowledge about it and you have somebody who knows it better, and you're like, okay, let me try it and see what will happen next, it's really a good thing. I'll suggest if you can recommend some more website or some guidelines or guidance on where we can go and do better job, because it's no easy, I'm telling you.
Sure.
What could be your advice that you could give so that we can proceed or do better more than what you're doing in this program?
Sure. I think that's a great question. And I was really confused a lot because, you know, for my case, it was our programming language, and I had, you know, no idea how it works. Why do I have to write a for loop and an if statement, how it works? But at the beginning stages of this process, there are a lot of things that do not make sense right away. But after a few weeks, when you get to the first project or the problem set or homework or whatever it is, you can see like, yeah, you're developing an algorithm that does this and that. So I would say follow the course material and what the course has to offer to you 100%. Make sure you ask questions and learn the material fully and answer the homework questions, and basically make sure you keep asking if something doesn't make sense. But there's a website, I actually put it in the chat, stackoverflow.com. So this is a very interesting website. Data scientists, it doesn't matter if they're like a data scientist for 10 years or 20 years, it doesn't matter. They still keep coming back to this website because this is a website that people can come. It's a platform people can come to ask their coding questions. It can be Python or R or JavaScript or Java, or it has so many different languages on this platform, and experts who have been in the field for so many years usually would come and answer those questions. So at the beginning of my journey, what I thought was, okay, if I'm a good coder or if I'm a good programmer, when I want to code, I don't have to look at any other resources, and I just have to, all I have to do is to sit in front of my computer and keep coding without looking at any other resources. But this is not the case. Even now, when I'm sort of stuck or don't know something or something, I have forgot something, I go to Google and simply I just say, yeah, how to create a data frame, or how to do this addition in Python, or how to remove columns from my data set in R or something like that. And when you type this in Google, this website that I put in the chat, stackoverflow.com, is one of the first resources or websites that shows up, because there has been a lot of questions asked on this platform. You can go and ask your questions here, or you can see the questions other people have asked in the past, which might be similar to your case, which most likely is because this platform has been around for about 10 years or maybe 15 years, and there has been a lot of questions asked on this platform. So this is a resource that I still go to, and I know a lot of people who've been in the field for 10 years and they still go to this website. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for responses and guidelines and for all your answers. We'll use them in the future so that we see how we can improve and what we could do better. So much. I think that's what I had for today.
Sure. So yeah, regarding the how to improve on coding, I would say it just takes practice and practice and practice. It doesn't happen in a short amount of time. For you to become very a good programmer in any language, at least six months to a year, you have to constantly work in different projects and courses. And what's good about this program is that it gives you that opportunity through a few months, and then you have the option to go through take on an elective or have a workshop or work on projects. So it just takes time. Just be patient with it, and you will see the benefits later.
Thank you. I have also a question.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey. So my question is not about the coding, but about math. And like people often say that like programming and math do not like overlap much, but from what I see in our first course, they actually overlap a lot, and still you gotta develop kind of your mind, your brain computationally. That means it's always like interacting with each other, your programming skills and your just very broad math education skills and knowledge of math. So what during that course that you took, like what was the part of the math which was the most useful for you, be that like linear algebra or be that I don't know what was the most important part? Because just to explain what I mean, and while I'm still trying to keep my math like up to date, like sometimes working on some math problems just to not to forget it actually while I'm like moving forward with my education. So I'm always like, and it's a lot. So I'm always asking, what are the parts of that? What are the courses that could be useful in the future, or at least will keep me like develop my computational thinking for the future?
Sure, I think that's a great question. So I would say, well, regarding the mathematical models and things like that, I mean, there's like a whole rabbit hole there if it can get too complicated. But I would say the basic would be, as you said, linear algebra. And for computational thinking and programming and coding, and that linear algebra can be as simple as a high school linear algebra. And there are a lot of courses online, free courses, even documents and PDFs. I think MIT has great resources as well on OCW that you can take a look at. But it doesn't really need mathematical knowledge that much for a programmer. Linear algebra should do it, because there you will learn about the vectors and how vectors can interact with one another, how they can be multiplied, and how they can basically be added, or how to think in a 3D situation, how to solve a problem in 3D, how vectors add up in a 3D or subtract and things like that. That is the most basic. But once in the future, once you build the foundation with linear algebra and programming with Python and computation and see how things work, if you want to get into machine learning, then at that point, probability and statistics, you will need to have basic knowledge of those in order to become a good machine learning engineer. So that will be the next thing, but you don't need to know statistics now or know probability now. So yeah, and I think we had a question in the chat as well regarding any suggestions on resources to improve computational thinking, like the process of thinking and solving a problem computationally. I would say the best resource is the courses you guys have ahead of you right now, and I think these are the best resources. And if after these resources, then you still need some more, then you will, I'm sure, find the correct book or the correct course, or because you still need to have the foundation. And and one thing about data science is that the field is very, very vast, and there are a lot of resources. I would say sometimes too much resources that will keep you distracted, and it would really keep you away from focusing on one thing, focusing on one program language, or focusing on one course, or focusing on one subject. I would say just focus on this program and Python and these courses, and then you will have a much better computational knowledge in the future. Because if you want to distract yourself with another book or another course or another resource, then you won't find everything that there is there for you to know in this program.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, I'm thinking about, Nelly, what you said about at times when you start learning something that is new to you, especially something that requires quite a lot of introductory knowledge, it can feel a little bit boring. But I think once you get into these, like you said, Morteza, once you start to realize that the reason why you're learning these things, these for loops and these, things that just seem kind of, why am I learning this? You eventually realize, like, oh, this is why I learned it, because it's important for creating this really cool program. And so I guess I would encourage everyone to stick with it. It's going to get more challenging. It's going to get more, as we progress in this course, it'll be more about forming and really bolstering those computational thinking skills, thinking computationally about everything, how to solve problems using data science, how to solve problems using the tools that are being offered to you. And I will say that the second course, which is the computational thinking and data science, will solidify that more. But also the third course that you will all be offered is an elective course, one that you'll be able to choose from a curated list. And so if you feel like you want to learn more about machine learning, you may consider doing something with probability and statistics, like Morteza mentioned. You may be interested in looking at, data science for healthcare. There's going to be a ton of options there. And so you don't have to decide just now, but what he's suggesting are really good resources to consider as you kind of reflect on that and reflect on which direction you want to take this program into. Other questions?
Gillian?
Yes.
Is it possible for you to advocate to us, to the instructors or reviewers, if they can please at least postpone, not postponing, but increase a bit regarding the due date of the assignment? Because we find like we're having differences of time, and when you come to like check the calendar, you find like it's already late for submission. Or if possible, would you please be making our TAs to be making some reminders, sending it via our emails, or going through the platform and give us some step-by-step guidelines, so that we mustn't end up missing up the deadlines whatsoever. And about the other thing that I'm thinking about right now, thanks for your advice and the guidelines that Maleki has shared, which is very grateful and very helpful. But in this particular moment, frankly speaking, I know when you put that mind of like saying negative map, like saying like, I won't do it, I won't make it, it's hard. Everything at the beginning is always hard. But if you're getting like, if our TAs also be like there or as a pillar or shoulder, where we'll be like relaying when you're facing any challenges, they'll be like, boom, like, interrupting and willing to help on showing you one ABC on what to do, or what kind of steps would you take in order for you to succeed, in order for you to achieve those steps. I think that will be very helpful, because this whole thing, we find like 60% of us in the program are new to programming, Python issues, and computer and data science. Because you find like some of us went to college and you finish our our diploma and our state of art degree in different careers. Find like this thing of this thing of programming and all these kind of things that we are doing at edX platform, they are all new to us. So I think if possible, you guys can help us in identifying 1 to 2 things on how we can go about this, because this is really a challenge, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so unfortunately I'll send out an email about this today, but instructors are unwilling to move any of these deadlines. So it's very important that you pay attention to the deadlines that are set forth by the instructor. These are deadlines that are set by Professor Eric Grimson and team. Unfortunately, I have no sway to get them to change those. But that's an important skill, I think, for learning online and managing your time. And so I ask anybody who have experience, especially you, Morteza, if you have advice for just structuring your day and structuring, how to plan ahead for these types of things. I understand we're all in different circumstances. Sometimes internet connection is hard to get to, but if you just are able to offer up any advice on how to succeed in online learning. We've talked about it a little bit, but any of your personal experience would be great.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, I think that's it. That's a great point. And I usually, and up to this day, still do sort of postpone my assignments to the last couple of days before the deadline. But my experience has been with online learning. Sometimes, actually, usually the homeworks or the deadlines for assignments are usually at least 1 week out or 10 weeks out after that particular lesson has been delivered online. So I think the best strategy after, I would say, taking more than a dozen courses online is, once the course material becomes available, go ahead and watch the course material that very day if you have time. Like, for example, if it comes out tonight you have to be watching the course material, and it doesn't have to be having Python open and copying code and everything. It's just for you to become familiar with what Professor Grimson and others have to say. And the good thing about online learning is that you can go back and watch again, and you can pause and you can take a break and you can come back the next day or something. So I would say the first thing has to be going through just watching the videos, and it might take an hour, and I think that's perfect. And on another day, go back and watch the videos again, but this time make sure you can take notes and you understand what the problem is. If you have any question, post it on the edX platform or any other platform you're working on, and this time get more clarification and get us started on that assignment right away. In the second time you're going through the material, because if you want to postpone it until the last day, because as you said, internet connection issues or time differences, or there might be something that comes up or maybe there's a question that you really wanted to be answered, but no one is available to you. It's maybe on a weekend or something to answer that question right away. So I would say plan ahead, and if you need to watch the videos over and over again, because my understanding is, after I think I've taken these 2 courses as well, each week's material is not more than a couple of hours, and you can even watch it on high speed. You can increase the speed of the video, and if you want to sort of go a little faster if you want for the second round or the third round. So I would say, I think this way you will make sure that you submit your assignment on time. And sometimes the course material will be available ahead of time. Maybe right now you have next week or the week after that material already there. If you have free time, and if you have submitted all your assignments, if you have free time, go ahead and watch the material for next week or the week after that. It would give you a good idea how things work, and also puts you ahead for assignments and midterms and finals.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Sure.
I see. Yes, Ahmed, do you have a question?
Thank you. So I know that there have been a lot of ups and downs during your journey, and there are moments when you feel like, okay, like this is too hard for me, or like, you know, something like that. So I would love to know, like, how did you keep yourself motivated during this journey? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I actually, yeah, did fail a lot and I got disappointed a lot. So I was not always motivated. It's just, yeah, as you said, it's like there are a lot of ups and downs. But I would say once you keep being patient and keep being persistent, and after building that foundation, once you get to the applications of it and how it applies to your real world setting, I think it's then that it will pay off. Because when you can solve it depends on your interest. If when you can solve a societal issue, or you can build a model that make a good recommendation for some sort of something that would benefit everybody, or would provide a good value to your company, or basically it would be very, very useful. It's then when you will see the benefits and all the cool things that you can do. Because it's like you are right now learning the A, B, C, and D, the alphabets of basically program language. It's not just you're not just learning Python, you're learning the foundation of programming. And even if in the future you want to learn JavaScript or Java or R or anything else, they all have the same sort of structure and the basics and the foundation. It's just the syntax that is different. And for me, in my case, especially the first course, the first course was very tough, and I had to learn R and had to learn computation and so many different things. But in my in the second course, and after that in the program, the subject of the course was regarding the applications in a real world setting with a real world data set. And it was then that I really was satisfied, and I became more motivated. And trust me, I really did believe that this may not be for me at the beginning, and I made the wrong decision at that time. But after you get involved in some projects, you'll see the benefits.
Awesome. I love that, the A, B, C, and D of programming.
Yeah.
Fida, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I want to say that I'm very slow at learning journey. I'm learning very slowly. I want to ask if that's really gonna affected me badly or not. Maybe I'm the slowest one here, because I'm still in the first one, in the first set.
Sure. Well, it doesn't matter. I think as long as you, I mean, the speed or the pace does not really matter. It's important that by the end of this course, you understand the basics and foundations of programming and computation, or whatever it is that you're learning. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's okay if you miss a deadline or two. I have missed homeworks and deadlines. I have missed midterms, and trust me, there has been time that I have been so busy with work and forgot about the deadline, or postponed until the last minute. And I have missed midterms in the past, and these happen in online learning setting, and being new to the whole language and things. That's perfectly fine. It's just make sure that you catch up, make sure you free up time. If there's something else you're involved with, make sure you sort of free up time for this course and material. And the goal should be for you to just understand. It's just don't worry too much about the grade. I mean, it is important for you to get good grades, but don't worry too much about it. It's just worry more and be concerned more about learning, and make sure by the end of this course you learn and you completely understand basic materials that you have basically provided to you in this course.
Good. Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre, you're on mute. Oh, okay.
Oh, I can hear you. Sorry, it will look like it's a funny question. if I take from the previous person who was talking, it's my first time to embrace computer. It goes slowly, and sometimes I don't understand what I'm doing, you know. And the deadline of exams is approaching, and the joy of a teacher is to see a learner make it in any exam. But according to you, even though you failed the exam, is not the end. So what my question is, so now what is the importance of this course if I can't make it, even I can't please my teacher who's teaching me the course?
Yeah, well, I think your teacher will be pleased to see you trying. I mean, of course, a teacher wants to see all the students get A's and get great grades, and I really hope this will be the case for everybody. And for some people, it may be a little bit slower, but I think that because I have taught before in some courses as well. I think the teacher wants to see students keep trying hard and being persistent, and keep working hard. And it's just that working hard that really matters. And because some people can cheat and ask a friend of theirs who is a data scientist to copy Python code for them, and they can copy and paste or do some plagiarism and things like that. Like, yeah, that can get you a good grade, but your teacher will not pleased with that. So I think working hard and being persistent and keep asking questions and having that, and this is just make sure you absorb as much as you can. Make sure you absorb as much as you can in the courses, and don't worry too much about the grade. Make sure you understand things. But if your focus is to understand the material, even if you don't get very good grades in the first couple of assignments, you will catch up, because once you learn the foundation and understand things, then it will help you in the future assignments too. So don't worry about your teachers' motivation. All they want is to see you being motivated and keep trying.
Absolutely. And I think, I mentioned at the beginning of our call today is I believe that the passing score for this first course is somewhere between a 55 and a 65%. So obviously we want all of you to do, you're capable of doing far better than that. We know that you're all very talented. You wouldn't be here if you weren't talented. But as with learning any new thing, it might take you might take time to do it. You may not get it on the first try. We know that everyone here is facing challenges that perhaps other learners are not facing. And so be kind to yourself when you're learning, and have compassion for yourself when you're learning a new thing. It's hard, and not everyone has the courage to do it. So if you've missed that first problem set, don't stress out too much. But like Morteza said, the important thing is you need to be able to recommit yourself to that learning. You need to be able to recalibrate, say, okay, I'm gonna still continue to learn what I've missed, like still go over problem set 1 and the materials from that, even if you cannot submit the problem, move on to the next one, try your very best. And as Dimitri put in the chat, there's some great additional materials in the courses. I think there's handouts, PDF attachments with interesting things, and then also reading the discussions at the bottom of the courses between the learners and the TAs, MIT's TAs, not React's TAs. There's some good information there as well. So be sure to check those out. I want to ask a question, Morteza. If I recall correctly, you participated in a hackathon, some sort of a hackathon at MIT, correct?
Yes.
Could you tell me how you got involved in that and what your experience was like with that?
Sure. Yeah, it's MIT Policy Hackathon, and I think that's the name of their website too, MIT Policy Hackathon.org or something like that. and it is held on every October, and all I have to do was to fill out an application, and that application did not require a whole lot of background. It's just based on interest and what I was exposed to already. And I think almost not everybody, but almost everyone who submitted the form, they got in. There was like at the beginning of the hackathon, maybe 300 people that were very involved, and we had to, after becoming sort of admitted to the hackathon, form groups of 5. And I think this is a great opportunity for this cohort as well. After creating cohorts, groups of 5, then we were assigned a challenge, and we had 48 hours to work on that challenge and present it. So it was great with networking and developing something in that short amount of time. And I highly recommend it. If you want me to, I can provide more information later about this hackathon.
Awesome. Yeah, I looked it up. I don't think they've updated the website yet for 2022. But yeah, I guess it's if it's every October, that makes sense. But I think it seems like opportunities like that to collaborate with other folks, to focus on solving real problems rather than hypothetical problems, seems like it might also provide some good motivation for tackling some of those more boring concepts in the course. So
exactly. And I think one thing I forgot to mention was that with this hackathon, companies from around the world would come with their problems and with their own data sets, and they would say, yeah, these are our data set. They would tell to the groups who have been formed, and they would say, this is what we want to accomplish, and we have not been able to do so, and you guys have 48 hours to group together and work on this and give us feedback. And it has been great collaborating, research, reading papers at some point even, or looking up code and things like that in like a group. So I would highly recommend this. It's a great opportunity.
Awesome. Well, so Lana and Camilla and I will share those. If we see any similar opportunities come out, we will certainly let you all know. Django, you are going to be our last question, so no pressure.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, the thing I'm using is new, so I'm still experimenting with the computer. But it's not a question, it's some kind of an advice I wanted to give to the guys who are saying about being late or whatever, saying it's hard and so on. I have like 3 advice. The first one is like considering the whole thing like a game. If you've ever played a game on a telephone or a computer or old phones, at the beginning, you see somebody playing it very quickly. The way you cannot manage to find out how is he shooting to everyone immediately, but when you go there trying to shoot, you get shot immediately and the game is over. But you keep following the game, you keep trying. You see you are failing at the beginning. At the beginning, you can start with 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes, you get killed. But then you see, I was killed because of I misshoot this game here. So you keep and try another game, and then you'll find you are now going up to 10 minutes in the same game. And one day you'll realize that now you can spend even 2 hours in the same game. And now one day you'll say, wow, now I've got the first win. That was some kind of my experience, advice, keep on doing it. It doesn't matter, it's really matter about the grade, but on some points, when you are failing on this game, sometimes you think like, okay, it's game over, I don't have help. But remember, like he mentioned in the introduction about google.com, there are some tutorials there which are really basic for Python. I've been following one. They started with how to print hello world. So you're like, what is this? Should I start by this? But then they go slowly. By the time they reach how to write a list, they give you some kind of a certificate just to encourage you to say, oh, you've made it so far. So you don't have like to worry about the whole thing is hard. I've messed up the date, the time, but also try to go through this kind of help they are giving online. Try to also go on Google and what is, for example, Python for beginners. You can start with this one, or say Python for dummies. I remember one day I started with Java for dummies. You can consider yourself even a dummy. Then you experiment, you go slowly, but give it time. It's as I put in Slack, I said, I'm not afraid to fail again. So I'm afraid not to try. So it's something you keep on trying. And I can assure you, if you try and you fail, we are there on Slack and the TAs are there. I've been contacted with by some of the members where we can go. Do you know how to add 1+1 on the interactive mode? And we start from that one and then we move on. And by the end of the week, they are like, wow, now I'm ready for the first problem set. So the help are there, but they cannot come to you unless you try them, unless you push hard, unless you kind of, this, I must do it. Just tell it, keep on telling it to yourself. So if you try this advice, you go with this like a game, one day you'll come up doing it. And the last thing I would like to add is sometimes you may think this is hard. Then what if I go to the next level, then I cannot manage it. But then when you read the first introduction of the next level, you realize that, oh, so the next week, the first level of the what will be hard is just the introduction of what I'm facing now. So it's better get better to this one. So keep on trying and know that other colleagues are there, they can help. Myself, I can volunteer, I can spend even the whole day helping just one person, and others are also there who can volunteer. But sometimes with the time zone, sometimes we get an appointment where we don't respect the time zone, and sometimes we get disappointed where we found that, okay, now I tried to contact this one, but it's not online. But don't get tired, just keep on trying, and one day you'll say, wow. Even those who are experienced, I can assure you, they also go through some challenges where they face things like, okay, which algorithm should I use on this particular problem? But it's kind of a game. You don't win always, but put it in your mind that you are a winner, you can do it. So that's what I wanted to add. And
thank you so much, Django. That's a great way to close out our session today. I think Morteza probably has to go back to work. So Morteza, if you have any final thoughts, and if not, thank you so much for all of your fantastic advice and sharing your personal story with our learners.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me. There's nothing else. I think Django really summed it up really well. Just keep on trying. Don't lose hope and motivation. It will definitely pay off in the future. And really thank MIT React for all these great programs and things that you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Wonderful. All right. Well, take care, everyone. Thanks again, Morteza. Hope everyone is staying warm and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, Gillian.